Welcome to a special edition of Web Chat with the Warden. I'm Chris McMillan, joined by Oxford County Warden Larry Martin. Larry, tis the season. Are you ready for Christmas at the Martin House?
Well, pretty much. I actually went out and I finished my shopping yesterday afternoon, and we got a few odds and ends, but I'm going to say we're 99% there. So we're never done anyway, so it just comes and goes.
Yeah, Christmas Eve at like midnight, that's when you're done. That's when you're actually ready. But you're a good man. If you got your shopping done and it's the 7th or 18th, you're doing all right.
Well, I usually leave it till Christmas Eve because that way you just have to pick through what's left and not what you want.
I've been that guy in Walmart, like I got to buy for 5 people. Yeah. Larry, just want to chat a little bit about the past year. Take a look back at 2019. From the county standpoint, what are some things that stood out for you in the past year?
Well, in 2019, you couldn't talk about 2019 without mentioning the regional review and it was announced on the 15th of January, and they finally came out I think it was the 10th or 12th of November at the AMO conference in London and said, well, we decided after all the feedback we're not going to do anything. And it was very unfortunate. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It was a good thing because it made us all start looking at how we do things and can we do it differently. But at the same time, there was a lot of pressure and turmoil and angst put on the politicians and most definitely the staff. You're sitting there, will I have a job tomorrow? Will I have a job in a week? Will I have a job next year? And it was just so uneasy that it was, you had to feel for them.
In terms of other highlights for the county, what are some other things that stand out for you?
Well, we had the housing forum that we ran in London last year, and there was over 200 people attended that. That's the housing forum with regards to the lack thereof, I guess is a better way of saying it. And there was politicians, planners, developers, contractors, I mean, you name it, they were there, and they were all taking part, and there's roundtable discussions, and it was fairly productive, and there's a toolkit out now as to where we can go down the road as far as hopefully resolving or helping to resolve some of the issues, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and we'll have to work through that. I know Whittingford Lodge received an award, and I knew I wasn't going to remember the name of that award they received, but it's a very prestigious award that there's only 22 in the province that received it, and our Whittingford Lodge here in Oxford County received that as well. Oxford County Library, they're trying to implement out and go out into a new provide more library services to the public to make them aware that a library isn't just books anymore. It's more like a social hub where you can go resources, you can get emails, movies, music, and they implemented what they call the Ox on the Run this year, where they had like a mobile outreach, where they went out to splash pads, and wherever people congregated, they were there with their mobile book shop, and it seemed to go over quite well, and it went over so well, we're going to implement it again this year, so like next year, I guess I should say. So, no, it was good in that respect, and as far as I know right now, I'm trying to think what it was now. The biggest bill of expense for in the budget from 2019 was we tried to enhance the ambulance service in Oxford County, and it was we bought 2 new ambulances. We increased the service in a couple of stations so that we could be more efficient and more effective as far as the people in the areas to go. Because when one ambulance leaves one area, the other one from over here has to come in and kind of cover 2 areas. So there was 2 ambulances that were implemented at that point in time, both of them hybrids, electric and gas. So They were one of the bigger articles. In all, I would have to say 2019, despite the regional review, was a fairly productive year. Better maybe than had been anticipated. Now, I know we usually undergo our strategic plan early in the term, but because of the review, it got delayed because we didn't know if we were going to be running a strategic plan for the entire county, or 1 level or 2 levels, or what we were doing. So we've set up now that we know where we're going. We're going to start into strategic review, planning review now I believe it's in January or February of next year. So we're trying to get that. You try to do it early in the term so you can lay out your roadmap for the 4-year term. But it's going to be a 3-year roadmap this year, I guess, or this term.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff happened in the county 2019. It's New Year's, or this is a year in review. We're getting towards New Year's anyways. have to go through a resolution. That's kind of a standard thing. Do you have any resolutions for 2019 for the county? I might add. I mean, if you want to add a personal one, I guess, but really looking for a county resolution.
Well, personally, I don't make personal ones because you only break them anyway. But no, I think you'll see that in the Oxford County, once we get our strategic plan up and running, it's going to be basically the housing, zero poverty. We're still working our way towards zero waste and 100% renewable energy by 2050. And I think you're going to see that as a core that as we go forward into 2020 and more than likely 21 and beyond as far as that goes as well. So and that's where we're more than likely going to be headed once we get into it. And we have sat down in our because our budget process for 2020 started last June, and because of the uncertainty, it was very bare bones budget, nothing really long term, but just the simple basics that has to be done. And I know that we did add in an extra $500,000 for social housing in the county for 2020, and I'm quite sure we'll be able to spend all of that as well. It's a very highly sought after commodity, it seems like, anymore throughout all of Ontario, not just Oxford County and southwestern Ontario. So I'm looking forward to it, and I was jokingly saying to the one girl there at the office, it's can't be any worse than last year, and let's hope not. But it was the angst and the turmoil, the chaos, and it'll be nice that we can now put the regional review behind us. We are looking at our service delivery review of our own now, as far as what we can do to be more efficient as far as the public and throughout Oxford County. Like all 8 municipalities in the county are all working together on that to find out how we can work together more efficiently and possibly do things a lot better and cheaper.
Excellent. And if I don't see you again, I want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you as well.
And Merry Christmas to you as well, Chris, and to all the residents in Oxford County. Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy, and very prosperous New Year.
Absolutely. So make sure to join us again in the new year for another edition of Web Chat with the Warden.